Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another special episode of Conversation Redriven, because this is the only place where you're going to get this awesome content. And this Redriven thing has been working, You guys are loving it. And of course, the reason why we are here today is to look into one special car. We've had a lot of comments around this car, and you are planning to transition towards 900, 1 million, 1.1, 1.2, thereabout. But you guys said we cannot do that unless you guys watch this car. So which car is this? Is one of a special car from Toyota again. Tumefanya Toyota. Watu wa Toyota wameng'ara sana. But again, without further ado, let me introduce to you a special car from Toyota. And it feels good coming from the review of the Corolla Sport and coming back to another Corolla back in time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Toyota RunX, or you can also call it an Allex. Of course, this car has been made possible to be here courtesy of guys who are called Gear 6. Gear 6 ni maneiba wetu wako hapa. They deal with foreign used, locally used, and they made it possible for us to have this car on the channel. And that goes without saying that if you have any special car that you feel we can feature on the channel, sana watu wametisha Pujo 46 manual, I can't get my hands on one. If you have one and you're willing to donate, please, I will put my numbers down below. You can always hit us up on WhatsApp or make a call or just text. We'll call back and make an arrangement on how we can access that car. Or if you have any special car. Kuna msali alikuwa ametuambia kona Jaguar XJ. Please reach out. We want to go back in time and enjoy when cars were built to be cars. And right now guys are trying to cheapen the build quality. So let's get into what this car is. And I'll take you a bit backwards. So this car ran through 2001 all the way to 2006. And there's something that is confusing about this car, because you can either find it as a RunX or you can find it as an Allex. So what exactly is the difference? The difference here is very little. And the little here is, one, the RunX is being sold by what Toyota calls the Toyota Corolla store. So that's what sells the RunX. And on the other side, when you're buying the Allex, it's being supplied from Japan by what Toyota calls the Toyota Vista store or net store. So basically it's just a different type of marketing where two products are coming from two different outlets of the same manufacturer. But the Allex was geared towards being a slightly more luxurious version of the RunX. But again, the Allex is just a badge re-engineered from the RunX. The RunX, the original car, and then Allex ilikuja ikakuwa re-engineered from this particular car. Hapo tuko sawa. So Allex, RunX, same thing. Down to the engines, down to everything, the same thing. That is if you're buying this car from the Japanese market. I believe you're buying it from China, if you're buying from Europe, there are few distinctions here and there in terms of the engine options, but we'll stick to what you buy from Japan so that we stay in connect. Hapo tuko sawa, tuko game. This car is quite special. It's special because of the name Corolla. You guys have just come from watching a video of the Corolla Sport. And the significance of that car bolts down from here. This is where it all began. Before you guys saw your Auris, this is where it began. So these are hatchback version of the Corolla. Watu mnajua Corolla. Umeendesha Corolla ZRE, umeendesha the previous smaller version of the Corolla. This is a hatchback version of that Corolla, because they were looking at selling this car to young guys, youthist guys who love, sport hatchbacks. So this is what they came out with, and it's a very beautiful car. Easy. Back then Toyota were not creating weird looking cars. Ukikumbuka review tumefanya juzi ya Ipsam, the front fascia almost the same, e-grill the same, the headlights slightly different, but it's the same look. The streamlined design of this car still the same. But something that is a bit different is when you come to the side profile. Kama hii unaona iko na side skirt na car sporty, which is nice, okay? All the way to the rear iko na ka spoiler hapo juu. Perfect, fantastic. Hii gari iko na options kadhaa, okay? The trim levels. You can get this car in several trim levels, which are very awesome. Back then Toyota did not have a lot of, and they are still doing it until now. So you can have your X, you can have your G, to detonate the options that you get as extras. But there is a sportier variant of this car that came with a full sporty body kit, and it looks sumptuous. I need you to look at it. It also came with a very serious engine that guys loved on the market. Pair that engine to a 6-speed manual. It is absolute bananas to engage your practicality. And then we go back to the front and talk about the engine options, and then we also check the interior. You know, it's a simplistic car where you are going to spend anything between 550. It used to cost 550 back then. 500 ungepata hii gari. Saa hii inachezea 680, 700, 740 depending na quality yake, of course. But in terms of practicality, I'll surprise you. If you compare this car with the common cars you have in the market right now, this car is quite practical. You can have practical boot space, fiti sana. And the good thing is, back then Toyota walikuwa saongwana, so they'll give you a jack, a place where you can put your jack, nini. Hii bado inakuja na triangle. But most importantly, you get a car donut. There's a provision for a full spare wheel. Oh, hii ni car donut, see full spare wheel, car donut, okay? So you guys who are buying these newer cars with tire repair kit, poleni sana, but this car makes a very serious value proposition, especially for a young guy or as a young family, abeba suitcase kadhaa. And then because it's a hatchback and unaona hii space. Remember the video you watched? Enda tu rewind uone kama hujawatch Corolla Sport iko hapa. Boot yake iko kidogo sana, like it's compressed here, so putting in your things and coming out is a bit difficult. But this one, it's opened up, okay, and it's quite flat, so fitting in hata mwenyewe naweza ingia nikae. Look at that. And I know you can close this. Let me just try it. You can close it and I can fit in. Yeah. The problem is I can't open for me. The problem is you can't open from inside, but you get the drill because it's a tall car. So you get very, very good practical boot space. Further to engage your engine, because this is where it gets interesting, okay? Like if you want to buy this car, Toyota made it possible. I don't know why Toyota changed, but back then in times, they used to make cars for everybody. Right now they're just coming up with CVTs and pumping them into Corolla Sports. Why would you even have a sport name on a Corolla when you're going to use a CVT? Let's check out the front and see what engine options do you get and what exactly does this car run on and why is that engine special. As I go back to the engine, let's talk about the suspension. Again, these are part of the few things that Toyota have perfected in terms of making these cars last and be reliable forever. Pale mbele waliniambia ni pronounce hii kitu poa. Inaitwa McPherson struts, okay? Again, the same suspension we've been talking about forever, right? That's what you get at the front. Na huku nyuma uko na multilink but iko na solid beam inakata across the entire rear of this car. Na hii si kama ya Mazda ile ilikuwa inavunjika. These are very serious solid beam which works quite very nice, very strong and very good. I love that. You can also get this car with mbele uko na disc, hii iko na drum nyuma, but if you buy the sporty version you can get it with discs as well hapa nyuma. Look at that ground clearance. Perfect. This car, I don't know, Toyota have changed. They used to create awesome cars. Now, they just create cars that people want to buy and drive. But, to be honestly fair with Toyota, even their current cars, even though they are not sporty, they are not fast, but they're still holding up to the reliability like this car had back in the days. So that one, 100% kudos. Let me open up the hood, and then we come back then talk about what engine options do you get. Hey, copy. Very nice. So under the hood of this car, you get one very special engine. Imefanyiwa revision, imefanyiwa updates, imefanyiwa all sorts of things, but it's still here with us and it's still serving forever and ever. Amen. So what engine option do we get when you buy this particular car? For 680,000 Kenya shillings, because that's what Gear 6 are selling this car at. Watukuja conversation lazima utapata ka discount kadogo, because hii tunakutetea. Make sure tunakutetea. Okay? So what you get here is the 1NZ. 1NZ waliniambia ni ya watu wa majuu. So I need to pronounce it like a Kenyan. So it's 1NZ FE. Naturally aspirated. Solid reliable engine. Hii yani venye iko hivi. Imekimbia kwa hii gari kwa na mileage ya 160. Believe me, that is very new on this engine. Like this, there is a Toyota Vios that I know that has clocked 450,000 kilometers and is still running clean and smart. It has a sport variant of the 1NZ, which is, it has bigger bores, you know, it has bigger pistons. Ile inakuanga na lebo ya TRD. So you can get this car, this engine in other cars that has a bit of more power. But this one is the stock one. So this one will give you a paltry 109 HP. Okay, shikilia hapo. That is fantastic in that era and that time compared to how much this car weighs. That is perfect horsepower. Pair Compared to this engine, on this car, you get a 4-speed automatic. Okay, the same automatic gearbox we got on the Ipsum, the same automatic gearbox. Like at this time, Toyota were not playing games. They were like, this thing works, slap it in, twende kazi. Okay, so that's what you get next to this. Now let's talk about what other engine options do you get and how awesome and interesting are those engine options. If you look in the market and you get either a RunX or an Allex that comes with either 2 engines, the first version of the engine is the 1ZZ, which is an 1800cc, which will give you around 125 HP, an improvement of around 18, 17 thereabout HP from the 1NZ. But the best one is always kept for the top, and that one is the 2ZZ. Now, if you get the 2ZZ, let me tell you what Toyota have done. So that car in the lineup of either an X or an LX, itaitwa the RS version. So it is RS 180. So you get an RunX with an RS 180 badge. It means it have the 2ZZ, which will give you, listen for it, 190 HP. Okay, that's how powerful that car was. And not only did it stop there, what Toyota made it possible to be on those cars, either the RunX or the Allex, is the ability that they had a limited slip differential to just make sure that you get your performance pedigree. And it didn't stop there. They also paired that engine to a 6-speed manual transmission. So you can only get a 4-speed auto or a 6-speed manual. 6-speed is spared for the performance oriented versions of this car, and the 4-speed is for guys who are looking for fuel economy. Talking about fuel economy, this car will comfortably give you anything between 12 to 15 kilometers per liter, which is quite special and epic. If you drive it quite well, wale watu wanaganga neutral, wanarudisha D neutral, which is not recommended, you can push it up maybe to 16, 17, right? And before we check out the interior and see how this car sets you apart, or whether Toyota has kept their word in terms of durability, here is an engineer from CARSURE to give you a breakdown of how much it will set you back to service, maintain this car, and what could possibly go wrong if you buy this engine setup and that transmission. Then we come back and do the interior.
Thank you, Askovo. These are some of the problems you might encounter when you buy this particular unit. Number 1, we have high oil consumption due to stuck piston rings or bad valve seals. And this one, basically, you need to replace it after around 100 to 150 kilometers. Number 2, we have the stretch in timing chain. The chain begins to rattle as well as the VVT actuator starts to produce a weird noise, and this might happen from around 100 to 150 kilometers, and this requires you to replace the entire kit. That might cost you from around 9,000 to 15,000 shillings. Number 3, you have unstable idling, yenye unapatanga engine yako ina vibrate very weirdly, na hiyo inaweza kuwa shida ni throttle ambayo unaweza fanyiwa just cleaning kidogo kidogo, na kitu ile ingine occasionally yenye inaweza pia tu occasionally inaweza kuwa shida ni mass flow sensor ama PCV valve ambazo zenye zinaweza replacewa with time. If that is the kind of the issue, unaweza pata ina lose power. Number 4, we have the oil pressure switch, which is frequently disarranged, and the rear camshaft oil seal is just leaky. This one can be prevented by using the high quality of engine oil and doing a regular maintenance. Let's check the cost of maintenance, where we are going to check the both major and minor service. So in minor service, you are recommended to change the oil filter, air filter, and the cabin filter, which is roughly is going to give you around 6,300, and you have to do it twice a year. So you are going to multiply it by 2, which is going to give you 12,600 Kenyan shillings. Now let's go for major service. Major service, we are going to add the spark plugs, brake pads, and the coolant, which is going to give you around 20,100. The other section is the section of the suspension, where you are going to be required to replace your suspension from around 2 to 3 years, depending on where you are using your car. So basically, we are going to cost you around 20 to 25,000, the 4 of them. Since this one is a third party, in terms of insurance, is going to cost you from around 7,000 to 9,000. In a span of 2 years, you are going to spend give or take of 108,000. That is all on cost maintenance of this specific unit. I'm Engineer Shendrak from CARSURE.
Currently in the modern era, mnang'ang'ana sana kupunguza space kwa magari. But this era of the RunX or the Allex, these are perfect. Look at how comfortable and spacious I am in this car. Like it's one car that you buy, from the exterior it looks small, but from the inside it's quite spacious. And Toyota did not stop doing their thing. So here you have a plastic padding on this seat, alafu hapo kuna mfuko moja. You know, they're still doing this thing. Even from a 2020 Toyota RAV4, you saw it. Kumbe wako anza itabia kitambo. Like, walianza itabia kitambo, I mean. Like, they have been doing it for a very long time. 2 cup holders, very comfortable, cloth seats, like durable. Sijui kama mnaelewa hii maneno. Plus, easy seats, unaweza actually kuzikunja ukitaka more practical space. There is a lever right here, I can see it. So you can actually, you know, bend that seat like that. Unapata more space. Na iko na kavumbi kidogo. Mwenye gari alikuwa aoshi bana. Okay? Tuangalie mbele. Basically this car is roomy. Angalia legroom yangu. Na mimi niko 6'2". Angalia headroom yangu. Perfect car. Like if you're a guy starting your life and you need a car that you can start your life with, you know, a car that will give you everything you want. Space, reliability, fuel economy. Like gari hata kupatia stress. Believe me when I say, this is where you start it. Okay? Wachana na hizo gari zingine. Wasikudanganya ununue BMW 116. Because hiyo pia utanunua the same price. We will have it on the channel. And I'll tell you why. It might not be the ideal car for first time car owner, but it might be a budget one for a guy who is maybe owning a second car or third car. Mtamuanelewa mambo ya magari kidogo. One thing you will not get from a Toyota in this era is complicated and sophisticated things. That is nini. It is a basic, simple car. Material durability, check. Angalia cloth interior, bado iko sawa. I remember there's a friend of mine called Ibra. Alikuanga na gari kama hii. One time he brought it to our workshop, which was called Conversation Auto Clinic. We did not have a very nice location back then. But we are working right now on a special one. So stay put. We are launching it very soon. Sasa hiyo gari letwa. Dogi ikapenda hii kiti sana. Ikapanda ikakula kiti. Dogi ikakula kiti. So we ended up patching this seat with different material so that he can drive the car to the village. Anyway, that is a story for another day. The point is simplistic, durable. The material is still good. Build quality hapa iko sawa, even though hapa kamanza crack kidogo, and I presume the owner must have exposed this area more to the sun, because ukiangalia hapa ime crack but huku ja crack mal airbag iko. But build quality material iko sawa, hapa iko simplistic, hakuna mambo mingi, AC, front, rear defrost, like just the same way we had on the Ipsum. Nothing much going on. There's a storage compartment here where you can squeeze in your phone and now ushikilia hapo watu wezi funga. Quite easy and simple. Then you have your 12 volt socket hapa, there's a charge simu yako na ka storage kingine kako hapa kwa kuweka sigara. 2D hapo unaweza weka. If I was buying this car, I'll put a very nice Android radio here, but this one will still work as well. Okay, storage compartment. Easy, simple. Easy mirror, unaweza recline electronically. Wow, that's nice. That's cool. Simple, easy and straightforward. Nothing much to discuss here. Headliner will hold up over time. So this is a car you take, you do a bit of polishing here and there, and you're good to go. So the only thing I need to do is drive this car with the man himself, Mbugua, and then come back to you where we can discuss a few things he likes or he doesn't like about this car. And then we can give it a score, and then we do value for money. Yes, Mr. Mbugua, welcome to Driving with a Man. Yes, SI unit. Na hiyo hizo tunajibamba nazo. You are there. You are not missing one single episode.
None of it.
Sasa nataka nikupatie, wacha kwanza niweke cutout. Unajua gari iko na cutout. Car 15. Sasa walisema hii inaweza ibiwa. Hii gari lazima uweke cutout. Sasa forget your dream about how do we call it? The starlet. Forget it. Allow me to persuade you to forget it. Get this car. Okay? Get the one that comes with the 2ZZ 1800cc in a push 190 HP
With a stick.
na 6-speed manual, na the best thing iko pia na limited slip differential. So meaning bwana wewe hujui bwana, disk mbele disk nyuma.
Then I still have practicality plus
Bro, now that's the point, because now it means you know you're a young guy, very soon unaweza pata mtu muamue kuishi. You need a car that can do both. So hiyo gari itakuwa sleeper, time uko na familia, uko na watu nini umetulia. ama ile siku umeenda kubeba mzae ama mother mmechi
Because me I have an issue because I know my mom.
hataki hizo makelele.
Obviously ile itakuwa bucket seat itakuwa pale chini.
Sasa ndio
atakuwa anakaa hivi.
Ndio ujanja sasa. Sasa bucket unajiwekea huko mbele. Huko mbele unaweka Recaro. Nyuma unawacha. So mzae na mother wana set new.
And you still have room for cabbages.
Exactly. Hapa kando ni babies. So forget your salad dream. I'm trying to persuade you. If you want to go that way.
I change my mind.
Yeah, I think if I show you that car.
Can I put the 3S GT and this?
No, you don't. The 2ZZ is good.
It's still okay.
Yeah, you don't need the turbo. Now this one is pure naturally aspirated in a push 190 HP. What else do you want?
The 2ZZ ile hawa hindi uweka kwa zile.
Sasa umepata. Ndio hizo sasa.
It sounds good.
Now you straight pipe that thing.
It sounds good.
Una straight pipe hiyo kitu unapata pure mwenjoyo, okay? But now let's talk about this one. This one iko na 1NZ. Ile engine umezoea mbugo unaijua. Yes, 15 reliable, imefanywa improvements nini, but it's the same engine. So that's what you get here. Quite reliable, quite easy. Fuel economy 15 kilometers per liter, 4 speed.
No, I think the most probably point is of this car is how much does it cost?
Hii sasa ina depend the how good how bad it is. Like this particular one, watu wa gear 6 wamesema wanauza 680. But mimi najua ukikuongelesha wewe fiti. Huwezi kosa kuwatolea kambawa hapo.
Tuwezi kosa.
So unaweza ongelea biao gear 6 wapunguzie. Plus it has some few things to do here kidogo which it's normal for a used car. But in a range between 500 all the way to 700 depending na quality ya gari imelindwaje na iko in what mechanical condition. What I recommend is get the one is in tip-top condition so that you have little or almost nothing to fix. If you get the one for 500 or 450, then you have stuff that you need to fix.
And something else people don't know is this car is also an investment. They don't drop in value.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. Hiyo pesa utanunua ndo utauza.
This is a car that you'll buy 700 and tomorrow sell at 700 comfortably.
Waambie ikoje comfortable.
Well, for me I feel it's
hata pale back seat I enjoyed sitting there, man.
Sungi nyuma. I want to feel as much as possible the comfort of this car. Ideally it's a Toyota. By then when on this year of Toyota,
yes,
comfort wasn't really a thing.
No,
it was a point A to point B, but
of course no, but even space was a thing because this is a hatchback. You know, this is also a Corolla. So these are Corolla. So imagine Corolla Sport. Tumepiga review last week. Unaona ilikuwa cramped up. Like the more they grew up with age, the more they made it smaller. This is when they were giving you everything. Space, durability, comfort. Walikuwa wanakuwekea tu hapo ni kama like wataki kunyima anything, but sasa hivi wanakunyima. Huko wamekupatia ka CVT.
When I'm saying in terms of comfort,
yes,
I'm saying in terms of unajua sasa kama Mercedes venye uko na sijui nini
uko na hizo hapana. Features.
Features kidogo.
Huko hakuna kitu. There's
nothing to talk about this.
No, even the driving feel, there's nothing to talk about. This is a car that you go from A to B.
Itafika Western vizuri.
Hii unaenda lap 10 Western na unarudi. Kwanza 1NZ ina balance fuel economy, yes of course. Ina balance fuel economy na power fit sana. Nipatie score yako out of 10.
Out of 10.
Yes, for a first car owner.
Yes. I saw this car before you even reviewed.
Yeah, I know.
I fell in love with it.
Yeah, you are telling me, bro, mzee kuna gari. Yes.
Yeah, and now you got to review it. I told you we review this car.
Yes.
It's a very nice car. For me, I love it. For me, it's a 9 out of 10. Maybe because of
the age.
The age.
Yeah.
And the fact that they don't have too much.
Yes.
But at least ilikuwa inaitwa single beam.
Hii ni double. Naona kuna moja na chini.
Sasa hiyo ilikuwa double.
Single ni kamoja.
But I think you can swap it for the newer.
Yes, Androids.
Yeah. And enjoy your music.
Kabisa. Even me I'll give it a 9. Tanyima tio point moja kwa sababu ya repairs na nini. But it's a fantastic car. Don't find value for money?
Value for money.
Fantastic. So let's talk about value for money. Why is it important, or does this car really make a value proposition for you? Hey, my answer is 100% yes. And let me describe this for you so that you get it in a simpler way. Number one, when you say on a budget, you've done your savings, you have like 500 to 700,000 Kenya shillings, okay? Or let's say 800, because what I recommend every time you want to buy a car, If your budget is 700, make sure you have 800,000 Kenya shillings. The extra 100 is one for insurance, two is to fix some few things that you need to deal with. Kama hii already nimesikia tukelele pale, unaweza nimeona kama ka ball joint, ni kama kanaanza kwenda, nimesikia CV joint ukikata corner there is a bit of a noise. So there are few things that if you are buying this car, again after performing a serious pre-purchase inspection, because you cannot know what to change without doing a pre-purchase inspection. Unaget? So fanya pre-purchase inspection yako fiti, note down those things, and then when you buy this car, pay your 680, negotiate. If you can push these guys, I'm talking about Mbugu, Alex, or the guys at Gear 6. If you can push them down to 650, you have a good deal on yourself for this car. Hapo sasa, hiyo pesa inabaki juu, tumia car 50k, enda chapa zako kwa hii gari, make sure it's spot on, clean, and perfect for you. Okay? That's quite important. Kama unataka kufanya paint job, inaongezea hapo kama ka 60-70k. This car will be painted fully. Itarudi tip top condition na itakuwa gari fiti. So that this car make value when you're buying it for 650. Let's say just between anything 550 to 700,000 Kenya shillings. The answer is absolutely yes. Unfortunately or fortunately, you still sell this car at the same price after 3 years. So resale value tick. Kila kitu functionality tick, reliability tick, durability tick, functionality tick, affordability tick. Buy this car and enjoy your journey, man. I have been your host, Papa's Cop himself, Ibrahim Toloi. On the next episode of Redriven, we are switching up the budget now to something above 1 million Kenya shillings. I hate to say it, but unfortunately, it might be again a Toyota. Bye-bye and see you next time.